The title of this video may sound a bit hyperbolic. I will leave that up to you to judge. However, I think it is very clear that when it comes to Haki, one of the major power systems that Oda has established, in this arc, Wano Country, low-key, at the bare minimum, low-key, I think Wano has proven that Haki is somewhat overrated.
What do you mean by that?
Yes. Of course, it's not overrated at all. If you like your boy's content, you click on that like button, you click on that subscribe button, and of course, click on the bell to join the notification squad.
That lovely.
But
here we go again.
Haki in this arc is a little bit overrated. Now that may sound crazy because, of course, there's the real Haki that Luffy's been training for to do internal damage to objects and people. The Scabbards have it and they're able to actually damage Kaido. Then, of course, we have the Conqueror's Haki stuff going down with the Conqueror's Haki infusion. Luffy looking like an absolute monster. Yamato has that too. She's very studly. Ronor Zoro, the king of hell, he has that too. And clearly Haki is important in terms of the characters growing and becoming stronger. But it's also very true that we're seeing the opposite side of the spectrum in full bloom, where characters with very little Haki but through other means are still quite devastating, hauntingly devastating, i.e. Trafalgar D. Voltaire Law. The fact that Luffy had to train for this Rio Haki to do internal damage, and then with that new Haki was able to start damaging Kaido. Compare that to Law, where off the gate, off the rip, Law was damaging Kaido. Even Kaido's like, yo, goddamn, hey, yo, this kid's powers are really throwing me off. Why? Because Law has a busted as all hell devil fruit. As of late, Law has been absolutely phenomenal. His awakening is scary. The willies are haunting, especially the puncture willy.
That is crazy.
I did a poll on Twitter a few days ago, and for the folks that voted, they have said, at this point in time, Law is stronger than Zoro. Despite all of Zoro's crazy gains, and Conqueror's Haki infusion, king of hell, blah, blah, blah. No, Law is just busted because Law has the devil fruit. He has Haki, yes he does. He has the basics, armament, observation, but that devil fruit catapults man to a whole new level. And there are many folks in the world of One Piece that are like that, where they just have busted ass powers and busted ass tech. And that's very important to note, because I remember years ago, maybe you guys weren't around, all right, but years ago during Punk Hazard, during Dressrosa, Zoe, even Whole Cake Island, a lot of folks in the community were worried about certain Straw Hats moving forward into the new world. So Frankie, Brooke, Robin, Usopp, where a lot of these characters didn't have armored Haki. Particularly it's armored Haki, that's like the issue. Because in New World, a dangerous place, you want Haki, it's very useful. However, what we found out recently in the River Cards is that Black Maria and Sasaki, two of the Todoropo, had Haki to an extent. Both observation and armored Haki. And both these people lost to non-Haki users. Robin one-shotted Black Maria in a very studly, dope way. And she has no Haki, as far as we know. I mean, maybe Oda will reveal, actually, she awakened Haki at some point in the past. Maybe. But as far as we know, she has no Haki, and she beat a Haki user flat out. Even though Black Maria didn't even really show Haki, yeah, I'll be honest here. Even though the cards say she has Haki, she showed none of that Haki. But again, according to the data book, she does, and it was worthless, because Robin still destroyed her with a Demonio Fleur. And Frankie beat Sasaki with a Gundam! An unironic Gundam, that is the Frankie Shogun. Actually, no, that's a lie, because it was actually destroyed by Sasaki, but then Frankie just rebounded, rolled away in a very dumb pose, and did a radical beam through his stomach, and that was that. So Frankie also beat a Haki user as a non-Haki user. In fact, most of the Flying Six outside of Who's Who Jime did combine in a very studly way arm and Haki hardening with his Fisherman Karate, which was damn dope, the Demon Brick Fist. Most of the Flying Six were defeated by non-Haki users. Now, of course, Ulti's defeat is its own bag of worms, which I will not get into because no, absolutely not. However, she does ultimately be defeated by Nami in a non-Haki based attack. At the end of the damn day, what we've seen here is non-Haki users, or folks who really even rely on Haki, be tremendously successful in Wano Country. And in a general sense, in the New World itself. Look at Kaido's next best men, King the Wildfire and Queen the Plague. We only saw Queen use Armor Haki hardening like one time to block Sanji's attack. Though I will say, in the newest opening for One Piece, we do see Queen fire a black laser beam. So maybe that's his black coffee beam, which is Armor Haki on top of his laser. Nowhere near confirmed in the manga, but that might be something we find out later on in greater detail in the anime. The rest of it was weird, Brachiosaurus moves, him coming out of his own body as some weird Brachiosaurus snake with the Brachiocoilus that can actually crush even Armor Haki users. He has this crazy weird rocket launcher tech. He has Germa Double Six's moves, the Sparking Queen, the Henry Queen, the Wind Tweez, all these he has stealth, my man. Queen had all these things going for him, and he's one of the strongest guys in the verse. In terms of bounty, he's over 1 billion, over Katakuri, clearly showing his success in the New World, and the man barely used Haki at all. And on the flip side of things, Sanji's growth wasn't even Haki related at all. It was superhuman genetic related and a higher temperature for his fire. The Haki was just used to strengthen his own body to handle the greater temperature of fire. He beats Queen using superhuman genetics, martial arts Kempo that he's always had, and a higher degree of fire temperature. Haki is there, but it's like the fourth most important thing to Sanji at that point in time. Then look at King the Wildfire. King the Wildfire has Haki. He's studly, true, absolutely is. But King the Wildfire clearly, obviously relied on his Deathroot power, the Pterodon ability, and then the Imperial Fire. And the Imperial Fire was absolutely studly. Even in the final hour, when Zoro does his final attack on King the Wildfire again relies on the Imperial Fire, that giant Imperial dragon in the form of Kaido. So the whole point here is that King the Wildfire isn't holding back. Queen isn't holding back. It's just that Haki for them isn't an end-all be-all, and they can still use their max power because Haki is just a means to an end, ultimately speaking. And we see how it applies for a lot of characters across the spectrum in Wano Country. Whether it's Law, whether it's Killer or Kid, for that matter, or even Marco, who on paper should be somewhere in the ballpark of King the Wildfire's power. These characters clearly rely on other things to be successful in even the New World, rather than maxing out their Haki stat to like the highest level. And it works, it clearly works. And moving forward, that is going to continue to be the case, I would argue, absolutely. So I don't see Chopper awakening Haki. I will be honest with you, I just don't see it. Usopp already has observation Haki, and he may awaken another Haki, but I will save that for another video.
Oh yeah.
Robin, maybe. Frankie, maybe. Brooke, maybe. But honestly, for those guys, it's not even necessary. In fact, in the case of Robin and Brooke, I would argue they're more likely to awaken as though for users rather than actually achieve the basic Haki. Yes, I'll say it again. Brooke and Robin are more likely to awaken as though for users rather than achieve the basic observation and armament Haki. That's what I personally think is the case moving forward, because they don't necessarily need Haki to be successful in the world of One Piece. And then in Frankie's case, just get more crazy tech. And that will suffice very nicely. Vegapunk could be en route, and if Vegapunk and Frankie meet, I am petrified. This brother Frankie would actually create Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann if him and Vegapunk have an hour in a room and they just brainstorm. Frankie's gonna be dumb. Frankie coming out, factual the next Yonko. Vegapunk himself, right? In a general sense for the world itself, Vegapunk created the SSG. And whether it's a group or an entity or a few entities, like 7 or 8 things, whatever they are, Fujitora has so much confidence in these things, as well as the world government and the Marines, that they have disbanded the Shichibukai. Meaning that even though we have great Haki users like Bo Hancock, like Mihawk, of course, like Mihawk, the SSG tech is stronger than those two. Tech has surpassed Dracul Mihoku, the world's greatest, strongest swordsman. Of course, based on Fujitora's words, we'll see exactly what that is about in the future, if that's actually the case. But for the time being, we have to accept that because they have so much confidence in it that the Shichibukai no longer exist. But of course, Haki does still matter, obviously. So that's why Wano Country has low-key proven that Haki doesn't really matter. It's kind of overrated, but at the same time, you do want and you do need Haki. In a general sense, yes. A lot of top-tier guys do have absurd Haki, and they do probably need Haki to be on that level. Big Mom has Conqueror's Haki infusion. Ain't no way Big Mom at max power until she is blasting Conqueror's Haki infusion. Of course, you see it across the board in the top tier guys, where Roger and Whitebeard had absurd Haki levels, the same for Kaido and Luffy now, Big Mom, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, the other top tier guys, like Akainu or Kizaru or Aokiji, Fujitora, who, and of course, Blackbeard, BB, who clearly do not rely on Haki as an end-all be-all. I mean, honest to God, there is a very good chance in the future that Blackbeard has maybe like the most basic, minuscule of Haki, that's all he needs. He may not even have Conqueror's Haki at all, or even Infusion, because the man already has 2 of the most powerful devil fruits in existence. Why does he need Haki? He really doesn't. And I would say, come end the series, Blackbeard will get even stronger, and he will be probably among the top 3 strongest characters in One Piece of all time. Meaning there's a good chance that Blackbeard could surpass the power of Prime Whitebeard and Prime Goldie Roger. There's a very good chance that happens. And he wouldn't need a single speck of Haki because, again, his devil fruits are that powerful, that busted. So I've been saying this for years now. Like, for example, 2 years ago I did a video on why the Strats don't need Haki. And it's very nice seeing this kind of come to the forefront because all you really need Haki for, at the end of the day, if being honest here, is like the baseline armor Haki to damage Logia on certain occasions. That's really it. That's really it. Because now we have full confirmation in the most battle-intensive arc in One Piece history, maybe with the exception of Marineford, that a non-Haki user or a character that rarely utilizes Haki can be strong, can achieve success, great success, because there are so many different avenues of power. Whether it's martial arts skill, like the Hashoken or the Rokushiki, whether it is devil fruit abilities across the wazoo, whether it's technology. There are so many avenues of power outside of Haki to be truly strong in One Piece, and this arc has absolutely fortified that notion.